Now, the India and the United States have enjoyed a strong bond over the last few years, mostly because of the camaraderie between US President Donald Trump and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And now, as America heads to the polls yet again in a crucial election year, the question is, which presidential candidate will be ideal for India for the relationship to become stronger? And to answer this very question and more, former High Commissioner and former Information Advisor at the Prime Minister's office, G. Parthasarathy, is joining us live for more perspective. Mr. Parthasarathy, welcome on this broadcast. Now, predictions suggest that this is a tight race with vote counting still on, and yet nearly 100 million votes have already been cast in what is being called a record turnout. America, of course, is facing huge issues right now, from racial unrest and an economy in a crisis, as well as a public health emergency. So what are your predictions about the next president of the United States?
Well, first of all, let's be very clear of one thing. Internally, America is becoming much more divided on racial lines. I've served in America, I've been there 3.5 years. I have never seen this sort of racial undercurrents, and I visited every year in the United States. And generally, President Trump takes the blame for that in the US itself. But coming to relations with India, you know, one interesting thing that India has, it has a bipartisan consensus. Right now, the entire relationship revolves around the Indian Ocean Association of Japan, Australia, India and the US. And there is bipartisan support for that. In fact, the entire concept of the Indo-Pacific came from President Obama.
Absolutely.
And it's been followed through. Most importantly, the Pentagon is completely in favor of it. So with India, there is a bipartisan consensus. The problems we have with the US really are trade with regard to the sanctions and the extra duties which Trump has imposed on our imports. We are discussing that. I'm sure we can resolve it.
Right.
But the hardcore thing is the Indo-Pacific partnership, and all four countries recently even have had military exercises or are having them now. Therefore, the ties insofar as security are concerned go back now. I can't recall any time in my career that they have been as good as they are now. And happily, we have not got involved in their internal rivalries.
Yeah.
Even you know, the much touted thing of having an Indian as a vice presidential candidate. Really, it doesn't matter. She's American first.
Right. But Mr. Parthasarathy, both the candidates have been
persuaded our Indian relationship. One more little point.
Right.
Afghanistan. Afghanistan. It's now the Americans are more or less set to withdraw ground forces.
Absolutely, yeah.
And what the Afghans want and what we would support is they retain a measure of air power in Afghanistan. But that's a matter of detail.
Right.
And therefore, there is a good dialogue. The Prime Minister has an excellent relationship with President Trump.
Right.
One of the very few leaders who has that sort of a relationship. And therefore, I have no worries on this score in whoever gets elected.
Absolutely.
We have no problem with it.
Now, the Indian-American voter base plays a crucial role in deciding the fate as well of the next US president. And both these candidates have been rallying aggressively. And this has been sort of the most aggressive campaigning initiative this year that we've witnessed from both the candidates. So what role will Indian-Americans play in deciding the fate of the US election?
Look, let us be also clear here. The Indian Americans, because as I visit the US every year, are disposed primarily to the Democrats. That is a historical fact. It exists. But they have never taken an adversarial position against the Republicans. Second, some of the biggest corporations now, especially in electronics, information technology, are headed by Indians.
Absolutely.
So I think the Indian is appreciated there, and particularly I must compliment the Indian community for being law-abiding and contributing to the progress of the United States. And there is that sort of prejudice you find against others, you will not find against Indians in the United States.
Right.
So they have conducted our elections well, and especially now, if Mr. Trump comes back, we have a prime minister with an excellent relationship with the man. And the fact of the matter is, no European leader likes Trump. Many of them have given up any personal relationship, but the personal relationship continues with Mr. Modi.
Right. Another question that I'd like to ask you, the last few weeks we've seen plenty of terror attacks across the globe, specifically in Europe. Now, usually terror has a huge significance whenever an election is underway. Do you think these terror attacks and this spate of a movement sort of against radical Islamism will have an impact on the US election as well?
Marginally. The Liberal Democrat is not going to change because of that. The conservative Republican is going to harden his position.
Right.
But the fact is that this ever since 9/11, there is in America, and I would consider it unfortunate, a thing about Muslims as they now. Whereas the position really should be against Islamic radicals. Now, who are the people promoting Islamic radicalism are well known. One is in our neighborhood promoting terrorism across India. And it also has the largest number of radical Islamic groups which carry weapons operating from their territory. So, I think that sort of prejudice will continue in the United States.
Right.
After 9/11, it continues. But that has largely been subsumed now, because right now they're really bread and butter issues, the coronavirus.
Right.
There are other issues to keep them busy.
Right.
And President Trump has made known his aversion to radical Islam, as he calls it, which is okay with us. I mean,
right.
Radical,
Mr. Parthasarathi, just a final question before we let you go. Right now, the electoral vote projections show Joe Biden leading with nearly 208. So, assuming that Joe Biden does come to power, there is a new president of the United States. How do you see the relationship between India and the United States transforming over the next 4 years?
Look, now after the sort of animosity against China.
Absolutely, yeah.
It makes and that has become bipartisan from what we have seen. Both Republicans and Democrats share that. One major belief being, and I'm glad Beyond does this, to call the coronavirus the Wuhan virus.
Right.
It came from Wuhan. It was nurtured there.
Right.
And therefore it should be called, and President Trump happily openly says it. So I think we are fine as far as this is concerned, because you are under Xi Jinping's rule, seeing an aggressive China, which has maritime boundary claims on 13 countries.
Right.
And also other boundary claims. So this is an aggressive China, and now it's a question of us joining together, as we have done with Australia, Japan, also in the Quad. We are having military exercises just now.
Absolutely.
So that is fine. I think we're taking the right path. We're concentrating on our domestic problems at the present moment. But at the same time, we do face a security threat in Ladakh. And you have seen that President Trump sent his Secretary of State and his Defense Secretary, at least approved of it, coming to India 3 days before the elections. So the urgency of cooperation with India, particularly in their defense and intelligence services, is very well known.
Right.
And the State Department, Pompeo, is online. So I think we should just play it cool, watch it, congratulate the winner, whoever he is, and then move on with business.
Right. All right, sir. Thank you so much for joining us this morning on this broadcast, and thank you for all your insights. We'll definitely be tracking the election results closely.
Thank you so much.